Introducing the 6'1", 341-pound protein queen, aka beef patty punisher, aka large fry legend, Cheeseburger Betty. Starting from the absolute bottom, we got Cheeseburger Betty on her journey to selling out arenas with everybody in the crowd wearing cheeseburger merch, waving around ketchup and mustard bottles, and large fry boxes with her face on the front. First order of business though, Awesome Kong. The fact that they immediately sized Betty up with another woman her size off the bat is wild. Betty be eating good, bro. Don't be hating. Coach Emerson specifically told her to eat a whole burger every time she make her entrance. And she accepted the role with grace. Awesome Kong not rocking with none of that though. None of the protein queen hype, as she considered participating in her debut match as babysitting the new kid. No, you didn't just disrespect her like that already. But it's all good though. One thing about the beef patty punisher is she gonna go straight to work. German suplexing, throwing a belly on her, military pressing out the ring. Oh, do it again, Betty, do it again. Cheeseburger Betty, it's over. Come here. The combo on you. Watch the hand, ref. You getting close to my bun. Huh? Betty was looking like a pro in her debut. I mean, throwing this woman around like it's nothing. And considering this Awesome Kong, that might not be worth the automatic spot on the roster, but definitely should be enough for her to get some kind of attention from some promotions. She looking like a beef patty. I might throw some ketchup on her. That's never mind, I'm tripping. Finish off with that belly, hold on. But after a few more belly attacks, all it then really took was for Betty to catch Awesome Kong off the rebound with the appetizer. Finish off with the appetizer. That's it. And just like that, Betty not only won her debut match, but probably just beat the most dominant force in all of wrestling school. Should've known this man wasn't gonna miss no chance to introduce himself to female talent. Freak McMahon wanna be my manager. I bet you do. I bet you got some wild, nasty fantasies with burgers you can try to pull off. Nah, bro, we not doing it. And now for the most important part of Betty's life, the bar. A place where food is served 24/7. At least that's what they advertise. They might slow that down once they see how much Betty actually eats, more than anybody else.
Kiss me on my hot mouth.
Apparently though, her chewing was louder than all the conversations combined, and Stan Hansen had enough of it. You shouldn't be hitting me with that many combos, bro. Bro was so mad he started hitting Tekken style 7-hit combos. And Vince over here doing all this stalking and creeping, but can't even back Betty up though. Soon as she started fighting back, Stan immediately wanted a match against her as soon as possible. And you already know the large fry legend had to accept. She might have bit off a little bit more than she could chew though, because she forgot all about the match she was supposed to have that night. With only a little bit of help left and a little bit of time, Betty struggled to lift them big chunky thighs, leading her to missing call time by literally a second. Brand new and already missing matches in wrestling school. Well, since that didn't go as planned, Betty went ahead and decided to make some new friends. What better way to make friends than to give out free food? She offered DDP some pizza, and bro immediately showed gratitude. She went and grabbed some milk for Bailey, even though it didn't result in friendship. Still was enough to keep Bailey off her back. Grabbed some chicken for Shawn Michaels, but apparently that's a sin in his eyes because he sweet-chinned Betty into an unstable mental state. Bro ruined the whole vibe of the locker room. Never knew offering chicken could get this violent. After a long night of unfortunate events and ultimately coming up short on all her plans, Betty just went to the local hotel to get some sleep for tomorrow's match. That pizza she gave DDP must have hit the spot, cause that man went and decided to be her tag team partner and everything. Pizza out here creating loyal bonds. And Betty was told to sell the burger gimmick a little harder, so now she getting up close to the camera, biting, chewing, see cheese and sauce dropping all on the commentator's shoulders. Like, come on, bro. But look though, if she gotta drip some ketchup on a few suits to get over with the fans, I support it, bro. Let me know if I'm tripping. But they definitely was out to end her career when they added Zeus to the equation. Stan is already enough, bro. Like, why you gotta go get Debo too? To make matters worse, Stan was out here with nothing to lose because he even was talking about Vince McMahon. said he gonna beat Betty down as a preview to what he gonna do when he catch Vince. Why is he like this? What's wrong with him? Bro introduced himself to the video pissed and don't plan on calming down no time soon. But it's all good though, cause Betty really trying to get signed, so she turning it up a notch with some high risk maneuvers, which for her size is kind of surprising that she still hasn't got signed considering she really doing this. I don't know who's scouting, but in real life I think Betty would have been got picked up, or at the very least would be a viral indie wrestler or something. After doing enough damage to Zeus though, Betty tagged DDP in for a short while just so he can get involved. DDP understood that Betty was the young superstar on the rise, so he decided to only stay in for a short while before tagging Betty right back in. Though DDP was rooting for Betty, he was getting fed up with all the weight he kept getting hit with whenever Betty did an attack near him though. He can't really blame her though, man. That woman can't control the radius of her earthquake belly flops, even if she wanted to. Man, talking about handing out receipts if it happened again. Funny enough though, it didn't take long for it to happen again. I'm telling you, bro, that woman can change the climate with them belly splashes, I swear. So he should be lucky that he even surviving, to be honest. See what I mean? Tables ain't safe in this exchange either. After one too many interferences from Zeus, even though he's in the match, the ref went completely rogue and threw Zeus out.
Damn.
I don't know what they got going on. Felt kind of personal. It got even more personal between Betty and Stan because she was excessively throwing her belly on him. Next time he in the mood to throw some Tekken combos together, he better swing on somebody else. After hitting him with one last deadly belly flop though, Stan was out for the count. Back to her daily food run at the bar, Betty started to realize that bar shut down the 24/7 food policy. She walked in them doors and immediately spotted the shortage in food. In her eyes, that's like a gas station running short on gas, bro. Unnecessary amounts of food consumption is the fuel that get her going. I swear they better hope Betty don't become a hotshot, bro. Cause if she do, the food supply gonna have to triple at her demand, bro. And the city is definitely gonna be in trouble. After an underwhelming stop to the bar, in her opinion at least, Betty went back to the empty arena to face Shawn Michaels. Key word, empty. I'm gonna need y'all to remember that for future references regarding this video. But we ain't fighting in front of nobody, are we? Where my cheeseburger? You get to be in character and do your gimmick, though. That's crazy, bro. They ain't let me come out with my burger, bro. I'm taking offense to that. Betty already being sold, bro. The fact that Shawn Michaels is a champion came out here dropping promos in an empty arena, but Betty can't even eat her unnatural supply of food before the match and can't even embody her burger gimmick. This is disrespectful, bro. Regardless though, Shawn Michaels actually came into this match as a legit threat, as you probably would expect. Betty been dominant to say the least, but the agility and skill that Shawn got definitely proving that he was out of her league. To be real, it's surprising that he's even in the indie scene anyway. If somebody like Shawn, who is running circles around Betty, can't even get signed, then what future does Betty and her burger gimmick even have? I might not be able to answer that, but I can say that all the compliments I just gave Shawn, rightfully so, Betty turned this match around and started whooping this man. Even the ref got sick of the back and forth, and bro said, you know what? Man really got up out of here, bro. That man said I quit mid-match. Defeating Awesome Kong was credible. Defeating Stan Hansen was credible. But beating Shawn Michaels in a fair and square one-on-one match, and only her third match overall, is for sure her biggest achievement in her career. From making friends with Andre the Giant backstage after the match, to getting drunk all night at the bar as a celebration of a dream-like night, was the perfect conclusion of what Betty viewed as purpose of life. The happiest she's been so far since stepping foot in the indies immediately took an unfortunate turn as she realized the win she had over Shawn Michaels was much, much more personal. Shawn Michaels pulled the ultimate coward card by taking Betty to court in hopes to legally erase that loss from his record. Now remember I said earlier that the key word I wanted y'all to focus on was empty, referring to the empty arena. So here's my theory. Shawn Michaels wanted this match to be held off of television and away from a live audience. because he had a feeling that he would lose and wouldn't want his reputation to be ruined by some woman who goes by the name of Cheeseburger Betty. Something he would, well, he and probably the universe would look at as shameful, which I would assume is so shameful in his eyes that he would even be willing to go to court to get the loss off his record, knowing he would not be able to do the same thing had it been in front of a broadcasted audience of some form. Which also has me questioning, why was Betty's cheeseburger all of a sudden taken away before that match? Was it so she could have even less of a chance to sell her character in the match against him, leaving him to be the only relevant source in the matchup? Regardless of my theory, Shawn Michaels lost the case and will definitely have that loss on his record. Now that Betty sees Shawn Michaels for the coward he is, it made sense for the backstage heat to lead to yet another singles match. And not only did Betty not come out with a burger again, it's also in front of no one and isn't being broadcasted to television all of a sudden. I'm loving the in-character and out-of-character heat though that these two have though, I'm not gonna lie. It's making the lore in this fire for real. And you can definitely feel the heat in the match too. Shawn was on point with reversals, shiftiness as usual, bringing every bit of his A game. You know how Shawn do, bro. Betty was in full powerhouse mode, making Shawn feel every bit of brute force to slow him down. I mean, it went down to the wire for real, bro. Leaving Betty the most depleted she's been since debuting. Yet again, meeting each other's limits in this matchup as well. But the icing on the cake was Shawn attempting to kick the ref while grounded. But this ref as well went rogue. I don't know what's up with these refs, bro. I mean, dude just put Shawn in the whole submission hold and actually was hurting him. Just enough for Betty to throw Mark Henry out the ring, hitting the combo meal on Shawn for the finish. The protein queen, man, on cloud 9 right now, beating Shawn Michaels for a second time. At this point, her career is going better than what she expected. With all the success being behind her name, she even being invited to participate in charity matches. Though this match was more on the least impressive side, it was still a dominant performance, as it ended in a form of submission to an already weakened Buddy Buchanan, which is his own fault. Bro be in the bar just as much as Betty, but I don't think he be eating. I think he be in there partying and getting drunk till the sun come up. And having a hangover against somebody like the Beef Patty Punisher is come on, bro. That's damn near a death wish in itself. Before Betty could even hit up the bar though, she met up with Brian at a local studio near a hotel room. Brian asked her if she could assist him ringside in his tag team match against none other than the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels himself. Again, bro. Though Betty had proved herself in a matchup against him twice now, she no longer had interest in defeating Shawn, but instead genuinely wanted to assist a friend to ask for her help. So she said yeah. Still being presented in this burgerless fashion, Betty walked out with Brian and Alexa Bliss, along with Abyss joining her ringside, preparing to assist in the battle against Shawn Michaels and Low-Key, with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Mark Henry assisting them ringside. Yeah, bro, this one trouble. Betty skipping lunch prior to this match, she already pissed, and it kind of carried over into the match as well, considering she got involved and even threw Shawn Michaels through a table. It was an unhinged match to say the least, between the ref needing to constantly worry about the interferences and count all the pins at once, just made it a big mess for real. Regardless though, the distractions and assistance from Betty was just enough to help Brian and Bliss get the dub. That was eventually ruled off because the ref, Chris Benoit of all people, thought the match should have been restarted, which ultimately didn't matter since Shawn sacrificed his body jumping outside, almost breaking his neck, just to get up and receive a burning burger from Betty, giving Alexa the perfect opportunity to pin Shawn for the 1, 2, 3. I mean, Shawn just can't catch a break, bro. And after yet another missed opportunity to get a non-suggested amount of food, Betty gets the news that wrestling school can't keep her at $5,000 weekly salary and asked her how would she feel about a pay cut. Do I need to remind you who been keeping this place? Where is that? It ain't been young boy Shawn. It wasn't Awesome Kong. Wasn't Stan Hansen. It's Cheeseburger Betty. I can't believe this. You see the ketchup and mustard I'm leaving all around here, bruh. What you mean take a pay cut? You see the cheese I'm dripping off these burgers. For the better of the business, Betty decided to agree to the pay cut. She may not take any prisoners when it comes to eating, but the one thing the world can't say about her is that she isn't a team player. I'm afraid that was only the beginning of the bullcrap though. Oh no! Because Shawn Michaels is back with his lawyer, taking Betty to court once again, this time wanting compensation for Betty getting involved and ultimately causing him to lose his tag team match. One thing you need to know about a made man like Shawn is that the business will more than likely side with him than a newcomer. Betty was lucky last time, but not this time.
Nope.
Shawn's lawyer was on his P's and Q's, bro, I ain't gonna lie, causing Betty to pay nearly $3,000 in lost earnings after already receiving a pay cut. And right after the court case, she got called back into Coach Emerson's office again.
Hey, bro, come on now, dawg.
Putting even more pressure to an already hectic week by alarming her with the news that she has a month to get signed by a major company, or else wrestling school will have to let her go. Ain't this a... Ooh. I mean, they hitting her with rapid fire BS, bro. To make matters worse, working on some spots to add moves to her arsenal, she hit up the arena early, came back to the locker room to find that her clothes had been stolen.
Tired of this shit!
And had to pay $240 just to help her get her gear back. What kind of dark cloud is hovering over this woman right now, bro? This is crazy. I mean, the universe is denying everything for her to go right, bro. Normally having nothing scheduled would be a bad thing, but in this case, considering the crap she been going through, it's probably the best thing for her. Finally being able to stop at a bar for her uncanny food servings, she ran into the woman that in a way helped her start her career. Awesome Kong. She must have had a few too many drinks, cause she started getting a little sentimental, talking about she wanted the heat between them to not only be put to rest, but actually wanted a partnership with Betty too. Betty, understanding the brute force that they could have as a unit, was in full agreement with the idea. And of course, Shawn watched the whole conversation go down, cause he just fueled with hate and just randomly decided to let Betty know that her losing in court wasn't enough. He wanted to see her go down for good. Keep in mind, all this started over Betty offering this man a piece of chicken, bro. Crazy. Unfortunately for Shawn, though, Betty wasn't trying to hear none of that because her unhinged food consumptions was ready to blast out of her body at any moment. After dropping off the most unsanctioned dump a toilet could ever sign up for, Betty went right back to the bar, continued partying. After all the BS she dealt with that week, maybe that was the outing she needed. Several hours later, though, she ended up running into Hacksaw Jim Duggan backstage during after hours, who happens to be a fan of her work. So much so that when Betty shared with him that her situation on needing to be signed before potentially being terminated, Jim Duggan gladly informed Betty that there was an open spot on the Weekend Warriors roster for her.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And just like that, Betty has been signed to her first ever major promotion. After such a hot start, meeting expectations higher than the ones she set for herself, how will Betty go about achieving this opportunity after seeing how fast her career could have just prematurely ended? How much does this mean to her? How far will she be willing to go to fulfill her dreams of filling the seats of an arena with fans, wearing her cheeseburger merch, waving ketchup and mustard bottles around for the sake of her greatness? I don't know. I know they better have her burger in her hand when she come back too, but we have to find out next time when we continue the journey of the Protein Queen, aka the Large Fry Legend, aka the Beef Patty Punisher, Cheeseburger Betty.